This is pointless.
Well, Royce, welcome to the program. Oh, it looks like your wig arrived.
Yeah, it did come in the mail. You know, I didn't realize when you become trans, they give you like a $19.99 coupon from Transgender University of America. You get one wig, and you get a bone color Stanley Cup here. I think they say natural.
That is Royce White. Now, if you remember Royce White, he put up no numbers in the NBA. Thus, he has declared for the WNBA draft. Like that was even a thing at play. And sadly, he's not alone in the grifter pipeline.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
Who you just saw is Enes Kanter, also known as Enes Kanter Freedom, because when he completed the citizenship process, he changed his last name to Freedom. Both of these men, by the way, have a lot in common, including...
How have your teammates responded? Do you think they're as grateful to be Americans as you are?
Enes, you're here tonight because you have a message for billionaire LeBron James. What is it?
Well, he's an unappreciative billionaire. You know, when I see people taking their freedom for granted, it breaks my heart.
The bat signaling they do for the right.
The progressive wing of the Democrat Party has all but captured the Democrat Party, and even your middle of the row, who they play like the middle of the row. I don't really view them as middle of the row, but who used to be middle of the row is being held captive by the progressive wing of the party.
Because it's all they got. Now let's start with Royce White. In total fairness, he has an anxiety disorder that led to his fear of flying. However, at Iowa State, he flew a lot. Keep that in mind, okay? In 2012, he was drafted by the Houston Rockets, and he would flame out because he refused to fly. Thus, with that being said, the team sent him to the G League, then called the D League. He refused to go. He would be suspended by the Houston Rockets, traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, only to be waived by the team. Then he would sign a pair of 10-day contracts, played in one NBA game for 56 seconds. Then he was out of the National Basketball Association. The man who selected him, Daryl Morey, called Royce White the worst first-round draft pick in league history. He played in the Canadian League. He played in Ice Cube's The Big Three, which, by the way, has a link to a far-right figure that it seems could potentially be helping Royce White through this entire process. During his stint in The Big Three, he wrote, "Trump won," after the president lost the 2020 election. That followed Royce White writing the same exact message for Alex Jones, who is a complete kook, a conspiracy theorist, and most notably, a Sandy Hook truther who claimed that it was a false flag operation. White hosted Steve Bannon's podcast when Bannon served time in prison for contempt of Congress and has been propelled by Trump's friend. Mother Jones would then report that Steve Bannon, formerly a publisher of Breitbart, brokered the relationship between he and Royce White. Bannon has built a Republican base among white supremacists and neo-Nazis online. Slate.com's Ben Mathis Lilly would write, "At one point in 2017, when he was a senior White House advisor, I found the text of a book that Bannon recommended on a Nazi website that had a section called The Jewish Problem. In 2012, Royce White would try and win the primary to take on Ilhan Omar. He lost. Following that moment, he wrote on Substack, "You wear the hijab to throw off the passive citizen who doesn't pay attention. You're a mercenary of the globalists. You're a national security state asset." None of these claims are well-founded. He's just talking shit. In 2012, he lost his race for the Senate to Amy Klobuchar, where the difference was quite a lot, 500,000 plus votes. Has that stopped him? No, it has not. Once again, he is running to try and win the primary against who local outlet KSTP says is the leader, former football reporter and sports media person Michelle Tavoya. To say that Royce White is controversial is a severe understatement.
I realized my fear of flying really wasn't a fear of flying. It was the transgender trapped inside of me, caged inside of me. They think they're claustrophobic. Not really claustrophobic, it's the transgender that's trapped.
He has, via the BBC, repeated conspiracy theories about COVID and about, his words, Jewish elites, and also made public statements that have raised the ire of people in the Republican Party, such as saying that women have become too mouthy. He even defended anti-Semite Kanye West from Rolling Stone. Royce White accused Jews of leveraging the tragedy of the Holocaust to provide a victimhood cover for their own corrupt practices. He'd write, there is a group of Jewish elite that tends to be secular in belief and corrupt in political practice. Now, here's the thing. He belongs nowhere near politics. The same way he belongs nowhere near his family. What do I mean? Let me explain. Royce White has been credibly accused of making threats and being both physically and verbally abusive toward his son and ex-partner. The Star Tribune would report, the order for protection prohibits Royce White from contact with his ex-wife for 50 years. And with his teenage son for 2. Yahoo would print, in one incident cited in court docs, the judge wrote Royce White chased his minor son, grabbed him by the neck, and threw him into the metal ball rack during a basketball practice, which caused a visible injury. More, during court proceedings, multiple witnesses testified, including a child advocate who reported that White's son feared for his safety around his father. Quite interesting stuff, considering that we hear from this crowd that they must protect women. We must protect women's sports. And yet, here we are, where they are endorsing Royce White and his actions.
Well, it's official. I just declared for the 2027 WNBA draft in April. Join me in this journey.
Then there's Enes Kanter, who could not play, and this is true, a lick of defense in the National Basketball Association. At one point in a game, his former teammate Steven Adams told ex-head coach David Fizdale, sub him. He can't play defense. One write-up of Kanter, he does almost nothing to directly help the other players on the roster on both ends of the floor, while his career was completely nosediving. He made one move that was, and I want to be clear, very important for his political career and his trajectory to go up. He spoke up against Erdogan, the dictator in Turkey, saying his family feared for their lives. That got the ball rolling. But then he'd go after China. Double points for the Fox News style media that so many hateful folks eat up. Enes saw how people cheered him on, and thus he went after LeBron James. Like clockwork, the right wing ate it up. As we know, in this day and age, that is quite literally all it takes. That's it for the barrier of entry to be approved.
For certain right-wing factions, and Fox News is like, someone said shit about LeBron? Ooh, tell me more. And so Enes Kanter was like, oh, this is my people here. You care about what I have to say? I'm a nobody NBA player, but you guys. So now he starts coming back on Fox, and it's like, hey, when you reward someone for something, what do you think that's going to make them do? They're going to ring that bell over and over again. So he becomes like more and more and more like right wing on everything. And the NBA is compromised. It's just these wild conspiracy theories, which again, for the Fox audience and the Fox bookers or whatever, they don't care whether it's accurate or not. They just care, like, he's saying the thing that we like. And we like people attacking these woke, libtard, like, that feeds into him. So now he gets all the way.
Very quickly, if you can, become a paid channel member or go to Buy Me a Coffee to support this channel. Thank you.
So a guy who started out speaking about a very real injustice happening in his home country.
Right. It seemed like he was doing something that felt kind of noble, you know?
Yeah. Now it's like this is the shores that we've landed on.
Couldn't have said it better. And for Enes Kanter, ever since he was outcasted from the National Basketball Association, what has happened is that he has been completely and objectively irrelevant, at least with Royce White. He ran for political office after his 56-second stint in the National Basketball Association came to an end. He has been practically, in my view, bankrolled by Steve Bannon. Kanter's done nothing. Nothing. Thus, the pair have to find a new venture to grift off of, and this is it. Sirat Sohi, a fantastic hoops writer, put in her piece for The Ringer, I believe freedom is mocking trans women and the sheer idea of transitioning itself, a sticking point for a far right-wing movement that imposes its possibility-shrinking ideology on a league built on expansiveness. Because if this were to be true, they would commit to their bit, as this user points out, take hormones, get multiple surgeries, and live your life as a woman. Will they do it? Of course not. No, they won't. The league has said that they are going to discuss with a task force. But what alarms me is that there is this window right now, this hole, you could say, where the right wing is doing everything they can to hijack. And unfortunately, with the Riley Gaineses of the world, with the Fox Newses of the world, with the Outkicks of the world, and many others, they are reaching some people. And it is all in bad faith. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues to show how she's not fit for the job. Her muteness on a manufactured crisis, quite alarming. She's abandoned so many fans of the league as well.
Yeah, I think Kathy Engelbert has to start as the commissioner to look at this thing from a professionalism standpoint when it comes to the WNBA, which in my opinion was started with her and her dealings with the WNBA and their union as they were trying to get some of these deals done. The way she treated them. Nafisa Collier had to come out and say, okay, this is the way that I was responded to. Every week is some bull crap. Right, we're seeing players who don't even average 10 points a game, and every day that's who's on your networks or on your TVs. And so to me, it's about pushing the right things, not only if you're the executives, but the players as well. Talking about the right things, making sure the right things are in the forefront of people's minds. If we are men, right, and as former athletes, and we understand how hard it is to get respect in the game, don't make a mockery of what these women are going through.
What the right is so good at, I must say, is masking the inner goals. And like an onion, you got to keep peeling and keep working to find what is at the core. So he breaks it down further. Even though Republican legislators have invoked Title IX to enact trans bans, they are also trying to scale back its influence. The Heritage Foundation would publish a paper titled Title IX's Failed Experiment, which specifically cites a disproportionately high number of scholarships for women's basketball as a form of social engineering designed to convince girls to be more aggressive. It encourages camping, hiking, swimming, and other moderate forms of exercise that won't increase fertility. She adds the modern conservative project isn't by and large interested in protecting women's sports. Instead, it seems to be interested in shrinking the lives of women in public and in private. So there's a few points here. The first is, and as we have discussed on this channel and other channels, the WNBA has never had a trans woman competing in their league. It is not a possibility at this point. That is number one. Number two, the NCAA banned trans women from competing. We heard in congressional testimony, Dick Durbin questioned him, but Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, said that there are less than 10 trans women out of about 220,000. So what we are looking at here is once more a manufactured bullshit culture war that is meant to distract so many people from thinking about the following things. And I will say this till the day I die, because this is what is most important and affects more people. Is your healthcare more affordable because trans kids are banned from competing in elementary sports? Let me ask you another one. Is your car payments lower, or the ability to afford a car, new or used, is it improved because trans kids were banned from competing in sports? Let me ask you this. Is your mortgage rate lower because a trans kid can't compete in sports? Is it? We had a tornado warning in Chicago. We have seen the climate crisis decimate the world, and it's only going to get worse. We have seen wildfire smoke. We have seen wildfires. We have seen winters practically become extinct. But are we helping climate change, and is the climate getting better because a trans kid can't play in sports? Is your rent going down and are landlords being reeled in? Or maybe is it all just fine because trans kids aren't allowed to play in sports? I'm genuinely curious. Hey, airlines going under, car insurance payments going up, the roads not being fixed, the electrical grid going out. Are all of these fixed because trans kids aren't able to play in sports? Inflation is going up, but hey, at least trans kids aren't playing in sports. Do you see how small of an issue this is? And how, once again, like clockwork, the right wing is utilizing all of this, in my view, as a coordinated effort going into primary season, seeing how they're probably going to lose the midterms, and hanging on for dear life by saying, yeah, but look at these two dudes that are attempting to play in the WNBA. It is all a fucking bullshit ass distraction. It grinds my fucking gears every day that there are so many stupid fucking people that continue to see this as a legitimate issue when it is not.